The Frontline starts now.
And we welcome you to another episode of the Frontline podcast. This time we're changing it up a little bit. We don't have the guys on the ice. We have the guys off the ice. Well, first off, the furthest gentleman, the man, the myth, the legend, who's been on the show a couple of times now, Peter Goulet. Welcome back, Peter.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks for having me. Look forward to this.
Absolutely. We're going to have a good time, Peter.
Always do. Always do.
And the gentleman in the middle making his debut here is Vitali Yachmenev, the assistant coach of the Voodoos. And welcome to the show, Vitali.
Thank you. It's my first podcast ever.
Really?
Never done. Yeah, lots of interviews, but never podcast.
Well, this is going to be a little bit different because we're going to ask you the real hard-hitting questions. I can't believe that. That's wild.
That's cool.
I'm happy that this will be your first experience.
Told you how old I am.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. Well, I wasn't going to pull that one out, but let's start with you, Peter, because there's a kind of something happening this weekend. But by the time that this podcast comes out, I kind of want to hit on. Can you tell us a little bit about what's going on Saturday in Trout Creek with the Voodoos?
Yeah, we're getting everyone together, inviting families, kids, minor hockey teams, whoever would like to join us, sort of get to know your Voodoos. Kevin Sargent, the owner of Trout Creek Tires, putting it on for us, and it's going to be a great event for free barbecue, and going to have some auction items for a silent auction, and it's going to be good. It's going to be good to meet a lot of kids, and we're hoping for a great turnout.
Are you going to be out there coaching, or are you going to be out there playing?
Probably playing. I'll play. Do enough coaching. I need Saturday off from coaching.
Fair. Well, you're sandwiched between two games, so
yeah.
Vitali, what about you? Are you planning on picking up the stick and going out and playing a little bit?
Yeah, probably. Leave a whistle there,
Yeah.
Yeah. Just have some fun on there with the street.
Are you gonna? Is this like your time to like show the kids that no, I'm pretty good too?
No, the kids these days, they all have like way more skills than I'm used to be or whatever, that because they're working on all the time and different level, but skills are so much off the roof now. It's like I can't even compete with them now.
No, be modest. All right, let's start with we'll try and start it down here, and we'll try and get up as we get going. So, Peter, I think it's fair to say the season's been a little stressful at times. What's it been like kind of running with a younger team? And that's to be expected with a younger team. So what's it kind of been like working with a younger team this season and trying to get them the ins and outs? And at the end of the day, you still got an X next to your name.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, I knew it would be a challenging year. I've been in the game long enough at this level, at the junior A level, and I knew it would be challenging. I like a challenge. It's had its moments, but, in saying that, every team I've had has had its moments throughout the year. There's ups and downs in a hockey team. Obviously losing 7 in a row. Man, I can't remember the last time I lost 7 in a row. I have to go back for a while. That's hockey, and all that matters is, we got a ticket to that dance. We're going to go in there, and we got Hearst again, and we got to be ready to go. And Hearst is a great team, and they got great players, great power play. Their offense is top in the league, and we got to be ready to go. And I look forward to that challenge, working with Vitali and trying to figure them out. And the number one thing we have to do with that team is have to outwork them. And we have to take care of the puck, manage the puck. So, it's definitely been challenging. It's been, but at the same time, there's a lot of rewards that go with this. And I always say, if I get through to 1 or 2 or 3 kids in the whole season and it changes them, then, something that I've done my job. If I can make a kid realize how to make his dreams come true or just moving on in life, and, it'll be a success. But, we'll see what happens here in the playoffs, and played a great game, a road game, a playoff atmosphere game in Espanola, and we'll figure out the schedule. But it'll definitely be Hearst, and Vitali and I will have the team ready to go next Friday.
Vitali, for you, you've been behind the Voodoos bench before, but last year you were with the Trappers. Does this kind of feel like an extension of that, in the sense that this is a younger team and you were working with a younger team last year with the Trappers?
Yeah, a little bit different experience for sure. Last year was first time I was working with the kids, like E13 Trappers, and I was being behind the bench, like you said, with Voodoos a few years ago, but I just kind of short kind of thing. But before that in KH, I worked with grown men and guys who has family, have kids, it's still different. So it's still learning experience for me. I'm glad I learned a lot from Peter too, because he been around for a while, like working with this kind of age group kids and stuff like that. So, but I enjoy my time in Powassan this year, and just do my best to explain to kids and kind of prepare them what to expect the next level, prepare them for that.
Perfect. I'll ask both you guys the same question. We'll start with you, Peter. When you mentioned the 7-game losing skid, when we had Jackson on last time, I asked, what's the captain's role to kind of keep everyone even keel during a moment like that? For you as a head coach, like what's your kind of role during a moment like that, where eventually it's going to end, but like, do you really harp on the X's and O's, or do you kind of let the guys breathe a little bit more?
No, I don't think you can let them breathe. I think you got to stay on them. At the end of the day, our role as coaches is to keep the train on the tracks, and we were off the tracks. It was not going in the right direction, and you're not sleeping some nights. You're thinking, you get something on your mind. You're thinking about what's causing all, why, and I always look in the mirror first. I really do. It's got to be something I'm doing. I'm not getting through. I'm not connecting. But at the end of the day, I hate to say it, but losing can be healthy for a hockey team. It can get everyone back in the right direction. I hate losing. I'm my worst critic. I'm harder on myself than anybody. I beat myself up over it. I take pride in winning. We have a good hockey team. When we play the right way, we can play with anybody in this league. We've shown it against the top teams. And it's just about consistency. When you have a young hockey team, you don't have consistency. But if we find it in the right time and at the right place here, moving into this weekend and onto the playoffs, then let's see what happens. There's a reason we got to go play the games. If they thought Hearst was going to beat us, then we wouldn't go play the games, and we'd just go home and we'll start building for next year. But we got to go play 7 hockey games. Maybe we play 6, maybe we play 5. That's up to my team and how they play.
And for you, Vitali, as the assistant coach, kind of what's your mindset going through a losing skid like that on the back or on standing on the bench?
Well, it's never fun losing games, especially that many in a row. But you have to kind of look ahead, and from every loss too, you have to find some positive things, and you can't get too negative too. And the kids still learning. Kind of, if you're going to be too hard and too negative, kind of even going to bring them down, I think, more. So you have to find a little bit positive and just explain to them. So pretty much every team goes through losing streak. So it doesn't matter what level you're playing here, junior A, whatever, higher level, at the pro level. So that thing's going to happen to you. You just have to learn from them, the experience, and get some fun and positive, and quicker you can get on winning streak is better for you.
Peter, we've obviously touched a little bit. You're one of the few series that is set in stone. It's, as we touched on, it's Hearst again. It's almost like, oh, would you look at that? Hearst again. Fourth year in a row, really, for the Voodoos. But
fourth. Yeah,
but for you, all 3 years you've been here, you've now faced Hearst in the first round. Yep. It's kind of a little bit of a strange luck of the draw on that one. But especially in the new format this year, you would think maybe something might change there. But no, you're still back with Hearst. So what's it like kind of going, not just going to the dance, but also going to the dance with a partner you're familiar with in some ways?
Yeah, I mean, they got a lot of the same guys back. They got Schilling, the captain. He's a great defenseman. Como, Patterson, Boswell, Kalen's there. They've done a good job building their hockey team. Obviously, they're in second best in the league. They're in the top 20 in the CJHL rankings, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you did now. It didn't matter what we did last year going into place Hearst. My first year here. We got a ticket to the dance. It's a brand new season. And everything's thrown out the window. We got 3 games to play. It's important for us to play well in those 3 games, and go into the playoff in the right mind frame. But at frame of mind, I guess I should say. But at the end of the day, it's we just got to go see what happens. It's a brand new ball game, and they beat us all 4 games this year, and that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is game 1, the first period, the first shift, that first face-off. Let's start it off the right way.
Vitali, you went through this dance a couple of years ago again when you were behind the bench with the Voodoos a few seasons ago. How does that experience kind of bring you into this one? How do you think that's going to help you moving into this playoff series against Hearst?
Well, I don't know. Like Peter said, when you get in playoffs, it doesn't matter. It's like everybody has 0 wins, 0 losses. So it's kind of a new season pretty much starts. It's just how you get ready yourself for the playoffs, how you prepare, and how you're going to play. If you're going to play with discipline and play hockey right way, you're going to have success. It doesn't matter where you finish first or 8th place overall. And lots of times in different leagues too. In this league, like number 8 team, like upset number 1 team. So anything possible. So you just have to have the right mindset for the playoffs and go with a good attitude.
Peter, you have a few returning guys, though, year over year, of course, and a lot of that made up your leadership core this season. What's the kind of message with you and those guys where last year you went to the finals and you won 2 series? I think people might say that you were the underdogs. And what's kind of the message with those guys and the message that you have for the team overall that, hey, anything's possible once you get to the dance?
Yeah, I just think the message is it doesn't matter anymore. It doesn't matter what you did or who you played or how you played against anybody. We just got to get it together and be ready to go for game 1. And I'm up for the challenge. They got a good hockey team, but I love a challenge. And our guys compete level. If we can match compete level we had against Espanola on Friday night and play like that consistently for these next 3 games and going into next Thursday or Friday, whenever we start, they're going to know they're in a series. Let's hope that if we play the right way, they'll know they're in a series.
I'd be pretty okay if you silence the Moose again for another year. Anyways, Vitali, I wanted to change things a little bit. You it's no secret that you played your junior hockey in North Bay. That's why I would imagine, have come back to the area. But your son got to play with the Powassan Voodoos as well. And I would say, just from my own experience, he's probably one of the most loved Voodoos of all time. What's that kind of mean for you to have your son play in the area that you got to play your junior hockey career in?
Yeah, it's nice. He played for Voodoos, I think, 3 years. He had fun here too. They had a good team and he enjoyed it. For me, it mean a lot too. Like I play here, I play for North Bay Centennials a couple of years, and it's nice that people recognize me and recognize him now too when he played for Voodoos. So I was happy for him. He had pretty successful, good 3 years here for Voodoos.
Yeah, I would say they were pretty successful. Shame they couldn't finish it the 1 year thanks to a certain pandemic, but we'll move on from that. Peter, last year in the first 2 years you were here, you had the Joshes, Josh Hardiman and Josh Dale. Both have moved on to different things this year. What's it kind of like moving from those guys to this guy on the bench?
Yeah, I was with Josh for 8 years. Josh and he played for me when I was GM, and then coached together for 8 years, I believe it was. And, he was a great guy, did a great job. He's got his own job going back home in Kingston. He's got a little baby girl, Stevie. I'm not going to sit here and say at times I don't miss working with Josh. After 8 years, you're going to have, a good relationship for 8 years. You're going to have those feelings. Working with Josh Dale, been with this hockey team for a long time. He's had an unbelievable year with the Trappers. They're up to Timmins this weekend, actually. The team's up in Timmins looking to play for the NOHA championship and get to the All-Ontarios, and they have a great chance to do that. And Josh Dale's done a great job. But working with Vitali for me has really been refreshing. It's you're turning a page, and I knew Josh was going to leave at some time, right? He's his own man, and he deserves to be a head coach and run a program. And excuse me, but having Vitali and having a guy with so much, not only playing experience, but coaching in the second best league in the world in the KHL. And, it's been really refreshing. I've learned so much from him, and, I'm grateful for this opportunity and this year to work with a real pro, a true pro at all levels, coaching, playing. It's been a great experience for me, and, I'm very grateful that he came on board with us, and very grateful for this year, because I've learned I think I've learned a lot more from Vitali than he's learned from me. I think he's being modest when he says that earlier in the interview. Just how he handles himself, how he talks to the kids, always professional, always monotone. I have seen him get upset a couple times, but nothing overbearing, nothing. Just a wake up call, supporting when I'm getting upset. He'll come in and support it, and it's been really refreshing, and it's been a great year, coaching wise, and learning from a man who. Coached and played at the 2 best levels in the world. So I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm grateful to have worked with Vitali and learned a lot, and hopefully our relationship continues to be coaches together and move forward. We'll see that in the off season and see what happens.
On the flip side of that, Vitali, when you were here the first time, it was a bit of a strange situation all around, I would say, what happened that year. But now you're with a guy like Peter. What's it been like kind of learning from Peter and working with Peter?
No, it's been fun. I enjoy it. Lots of good things and positive things too, especially know how well respected and know Peter around the league. Like see him with the other coaches, whatever showcase, it doesn't matter what it is. Like you can tell he's well respected guy and around the league, and he been in the other leagues for a long time, so he knows lots, all in and outs about hockey, that age, all the trades, how you do all that stuff. So that's definitely a learning experience for me too, because I never worked on that level for that long before. So I enjoyed, and yeah, it was fun and good year for me.
Average Joe's Eatery and Patio Bar is North Bay's only year-round lakefront restaurant. On the shores of beautiful Trout Lake, we have been serving delicious food and stunning views since 1999. Indulge in one of our delicious menu items, or simply sit with a cocktail in hand and watch the beauty of Trout Lake before your eyes. Check us out online at averagejoes.net or visit us in person at 3501 Trout Lake Road, North Bay.
Welcome to the Clubhouse by Gateway Golf. Located on Oak Street East in North Bay, with over 200 plus real-time courses, simulator arcade games, and delicious eats, the Clubhouse is North Bay's newest social hangout. You can book times now at gatewaygolf.ca or come visit at 245 Oak Street East in North Bay, Ontario. The Goalie Resiliency Podcast, hosted by Chris Dawson and Dr. Rob Graham. With player interviews new and old, goalie insights, and everything you need to know about being a netminder, this is the podcast to check out. You can subscribe at youtube.com/goalieresiliency or instagram.com/goalie_resiliency.
The Frontline podcast is broadcasted from inside the 360 Goaltending Icebox in North Bay, Ontario. 360 Goaltending, redefining Canadian goalie culture.
Why is Northern Honda servicing more cars of all makes and models? Let's count the ways. 1. Our state-of-the-art facility has award-winning technicians. 2. Northern Honda has the lowest tire price guarantee, no matter what you drive. 3. The lowest synthetic oil change guarantee, and every 5th oil change is free for all makes and models. Plus, new Honda buyers get brake pads for life. See the service difference at Northern Honda, 1250 Seymour beside Home Depot.
Kids Sport North Bay is an organization that helps kids who otherwise couldn't get in the game with grants of up to $500. You can donate or find out more at www.kidsportcanada.ca.
Well, I gotta ask, Peter, your first 2 years you had a gentleman, Alex Little, as your captain. This year you've obviously had to get a whole new leadership group because a lot of them aged out. You go with Jackson Smith pretty early, is the guy that you name. Justin Russo and Adam McKillop after that, and then you add Caleb Dawson and Caden Dubroy flip-flop. What can you say about your leadership group this year? And obviously a little bit of a younger group too with Caleb and Caden.
Yeah, yeah, they've been great. Jackson is put into a tough spot to follow Alex Little.
Yeah.
Let's be reasonable with that. Jackson's a great kid. He's done a good job.
He's really good on the podcast.
Yeah, he's a pro, and he's it's tough to follow a leader like Alex. It really is. I mean, I've had great leaders, and I think that the three best ones that I would say that I've had, I feel real bad for the guys coming in behind him, because it's a tough road to do. But he's been good. I can't complain about Jackson. He's had times where he wants to apologize to me. I said, Jackson, this isn't on you. I know it's not you, and the way the team's playing or whatever. So tough road. Jackson was the only guy going into his third year as captain, and I thought he was the right choice for that role. He'd been in the Alberta League, he'd been in the NA, joined us last year just after Christmas, and he's had tough shoes to fill, tough with a young hockey team. But he's done a great job. Moose is Moose. He's been the captain of North Bay Trappers when they won the championship. He's been unbelievable all season long. Adam McKillop's been solid for us. And then two young guys like Caden and Caleb. They've done a great job. I think they've been solid all year long, and maybe sometimes a little bit shy to as 18-year-olds. I haven't had too many captains as 18-year-olds. Maybe a little bit shy to speak up sometimes, but that's a young hockey team. That's the way it goes, and that's where you need, one of the reasons I named Adam, he was 20. He was going into his second year, third year if you include Junior B, and then obviously Moose has natural leadership, and he's won championships as the captain, and they've all been great for us. They've all been great. So Jackson's done a great job, and he's got to have this team ready to go and have a big say in that room moving into the playoffs. And he's banged up a bit right now, but hopefully he get 2 games in this weekend and get us going in the right direction.
Vitali, same question to you, that young leadership group. What's it been like for you working with those guys?
No, it'd be fun. They're good kids. They're still learning too. Wearing C of be a captain, it's not easy task to on any team. So you have to be well-respected guy. You have to lead by example on the ice and off the ice. You have to have a control of the locker room and kind of so guys respect you. And you have to be kind of between the coaches and a communicator, I guess, how you say, between the coaches and the team too. If team wants us say something to coach, it usually goes to the captain. They come talk to us. So it's not easy task, but I think the guys did a good job. They're still learning. Some of them still young, and it's good experience for them. I think whoever stay here next year is probably going to be better in that role.
Peter, that's kind of jumping off what Vitali just said. Guys that are sticking around next year, obviously it's might be a little bit too early to tell, but how important is that with a younger team that you see guys come back? We saw it your first year, a lot of the returners, and then what happened last season, but how important is that to have a team together and grow together like that and really kind of sell that for next year?
Yeah, I mean, you got 19 guys on this team that can return out of 23. I don't know if I've ever had that number in my career. We only got 4 20-year-olds. You got a lot of guys that can go back. Kids will move on. Kids will go to school. Kids will decide to go to another league. That happens every year. Doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter if you win a championship. Doesn't matter if you finish first, last. The team always changes. But, if you bring, if 12, 14 of these kids come back and they've had this experience, they know Vitali and I, they know what we're about, they know what our expectations are. You have the makings of a real special hockey team. You really do. And you pick the right guys, you make some trades, you get some older guys, you bring the right pieces in with this team, and you got the makings of a team that can really go on a run. That's not my focus. My focus is this team here going on a run. You know what I mean? I don't like getting in my head of myself, but this team, has the ability to win big hockey games and play well against the good teams. And you're playing Hearst, you got to play good. You can't take a period off. You can't take 10 minutes off. We're up 4-0. We lost 6-4. You got to play the same way for all 3 periods. And just because you're up 4-0 after the first period doesn't mean the game's over. A lot of hockey left, and take a couple penalties, you get a couple goals, they're back in it, and then their offense takes over, and the momentum switches, and playoffs momentum is huge, and we got to be ready to go. And next year will take care of itself. Right now it's this year, it's the playoffs coming up, and we got to be ready to go and play 60 minutes for however many games we get in the playoffs.
Yeah, us Leafs fans know a lot about multi-goal leads and giving them up in playoffs.
Absolutely,
it's a lot of fun. So then let's look at, instead of getting our feet too far forward, you do have the 2 games coming up, and one of them might be pretty big for Espanola, considering how things could fall for them. Vitali, I'll start with you. What's kind of your goal and mindset going into this final weekend of the regular season? How do you want to get through these 2 games?
We have to play hockey right way. We have to play with discipline, and it's the only way we're going to have success. Like when we play hockey right way, we play with discipline. We play well against even top teams in this league. So we beat lots of them. Like even against Hearst, we had lead in almost every game against Hearst. So, but we have to, when we're undisciplined, get in trouble, we don't play, get frustrated stuff, I think doesn't go well our way. So we lose to teams who's way below us in the standings too. So this is 3 games going to be important. So because you can't turn a switch just like that. These 3 games kind of who cares. And when playoffs start, so we're going to start playing right away. No, you have to start from now. It's only have 3 games left, so it's going to be a test for us. But we have to play hockey right way and play with discipline.
Same question for you, Peter. What's your mindset? What do you want to see out of the guys going into this weekend?
I want to see the great first period against Sudbury, and I want it to carry over into the next 2 periods, because that's how we're going to have to play against Hearst. It can't be good 10 minutes, bad 10 minutes. So, I expect to win all 3 games. You know what I mean? It's not about winning 1 game. It wasn't about clinching on Friday. It's about playing the right way going into the playoffs. And we got to turn it on, and we got to win all these 3 games. And if we play the right way, we have a chance to. And everyone knows that when we're not playing the right way, it doesn't matter who we're playing. We're going to have a tough time winning. So, but I think it's really important to win all 3 games for sure. And that's going to be our attitude going in. We're going to go in coaching like that. And then, Tuesday's practice, start preparing for our playoffs.
Going back to last summer, I wanted to ask you about this as well, but last summer, I think going into the season, I've said this on broadcast too, that kind of the big question mark was the goaltending situation. Like, how is Tyson going to respond, coming up and being the guy, and then you go out and get a guy like Austin who's been fantastic. So I wanted to get that sense out of you. When you look at the goals against in the league, you guys were consistently through most of the season one of the least scored upon teams. So what's that like for you with Tyson and Austin, and really one of the question marks that became a strength of this team, I would say?
Yeah, absolutely. I talked to both of them the other day, and, they take ownership and responsibility in the inconsistency in their game and in our game. It's not all on the goalies. I mean, you can make 5 mistakes in front of the goalies, and a floater goes by him, and everyone blames the goalie. And it's not on him at all. So, it's they've been both great. They're definitely the backbone of our hockey team. And when they're on their game, we're really tough to beat. We just are. Everyone's seen it. Everyone knows how good both of those guys are. Everyone's seen us get outshot 50-30 and win the hockey game, 2-1 in overtime. We need those guys. It doesn't matter who you're coaching, what level you're at. If you don't have goaltending, 2 good goalies, 2 good kids, 2 good people, if you don't have that, then you have no chance of winning. And I think, it was better for them to go through an up and down stretch when they did than it is going into next weekend, this weekend and next weekend when you're coming to the end. So they're both great kids. They're both respectful. Austin's a long way from home. I know that's not easy on kids. Tyson's, about 5.5 hours, so a little bit closer, but they're both going to be ready to go. And, Vitali and I got to figure out which guy's going to get the first game in the playoffs. And I know Austin's playing on Thursday, and then they'll each get one more game on the weekend. And, I know they've got each other's backs. They support each other. It's a tough position to play, maybe the toughest in the world as a hockey goalie, and they're going to be ready. So, I think this little stretch will dial my team in, or our team in, not my team, this is our team. Chris, Austin, and Chris maybe, yeah. When he shows up, Jim, Bruce, and Jim expects us to win. So, I think it's hard to go through, but it can be healthy if the guys get the message and they get going the right way and playing the right way.
Yeah, having both Tyson and Austin on the podcast this year, that's one thing that struck me is how supportive they are of each other.
Yep.
And obviously you need to have that when you kind of have a 1A, 1B situation.
And I always tell my goalies, sorry for interrupting, my goalies have to be best friends on the team. They're out there in an island. Yep. They have to have each other's back. And they've done a great job of doing that. It was, obviously when I had Miles Gordon, him and Tyson were really close, so that wasn't an easy thing to do, but it was the right thing to do for our team at that time. And it's worked out great for us, and they've become good friends, and they're as good as anybody in this league when they're on their game.
Yeah, I can't think, like you mentioned, win 2-1 in overtime. I always think back to that game against the Sioux Eagles at home that Tyson absolutely stood on his head.
Absolutely.
Vitali, back to you with the goaltending as well. Your thoughts on how the tandems played this year, and as somebody who scored his fair share of goals, do they ever kind of come to you and say, "Hey, what do you think guys are looking at when they come down the ice?"
No, it's the toughest position in the hockey as a goalie because you lost one. If you make mistakes, everybody sees your mistakes. Nobody else behind you to clean up your mistakes. So, but we have good tenor. I think they're both capable to win game for us, and they both play great this year at some point. But it doesn't mean we don't have to play well in front of them. So if you leave best goal in the world, let him dry, kind of shots, rebounds, you're not going to stop everything too. So that means as a team we have to play well in front of the goalies to give him a chance to win game for us.
Fair enough. Well, we're about to wrap things up here, but one question I wanted to ask you while I had you here was, because I had Matvey Petrov on a couple of years ago, and obviously being from Russia himself, I wanted to ask you, growing up in Russia and playing hockey in Russia and coaching in Russia, how different is the game across the pond compared to coaching in Canada and North America? Well,
it's a different time too now. Yeah, when I came first in 1993, which is a long time ago, like 30 years ago. But growing up hockey, it's different. We played lots of sport. I skate myself in outdoor rinks. I didn't skate indoor rinks till I was probably like 13, 14, so we have to wait till it's cold outside, but winter was longer back then. So, but we play lots of different sports too. We play lots of basketball, soccer, volleyball, team sports. We play that in the practice too. So I think that's help you to communicate with your teammates and partners, kind of be close enough to the hockey, but we play lots of games.
Yeah, that's interesting because a lot of the guys I've met throughout the years, once they get to kind of, the major, junior, and higher level of hockey, they kind of have to start, the other sports have to go by the wayside. For you, do you think it's beneficial to play other sports when you're, coming up?
I think so too, but we play as a hockey team on practices, different sports, I didn't go like different, whatever, didn't play soccer for somebody else. So as a hockey team, we went to hockey practice. We practiced on the ice too, but after ice, we did all the other sports too, individual, like team sports too. And I think that help you to communicate. Like I said, it's almost same, like 5 players on the ice too, like in basketball too. You have to move the ball, you have to get open. So if you don't have always, if you like, not sometimes don't have access to the ice, but you can clean that the other way.
Fair enough. And for you, Peter, the same kind of question. Like, I hear a lot of guys, like Wayne Gretzky came out and said, playing baseball really helped his hand-eye coordination. For you, do you think, like, we see hockey so much become a 365 sport. Do you think that it's beneficial if guys go out and kind of reset maybe playing something else in the summertime?
They should play every sport they can. Racket sports, racquetball, tennis, squash, basketball, baseball, football. You got to be multi-athlete, you got to be able to do anything, and everything helps your coordination. Everything has a part in sports, and I think it's really, really important. I grew up playing everything. I swam competitively, played squash competitively, played racquetball, played baseball. Baseball was just, I played maybe 5 years in the league. I played basketball at the park. We just played everything. We were always, if I got home from school, I'd be throwing a football in front of the yard, So I think it's really important. I think it's been lost in sports all the way around. And everyone comes in focused on hockey. You get one dimensional, and the other sports work on other things, other coordination stuff that is important in the game. And things go in a cycle, and I think it'll come back around. Kids do need a break from the game, but they see everyone else doing it, and they're thinking they have to do it 365 days a year. But they should make time to play other sports. There's no question about that in my mind at all.
Yeah, sorry, Peter. I think same thing. Hockey is right now. Yeah, it's like Peter said, 365 days, like practice all year round. Personally, I think that's too much. Too.
Yeah.
You need a break from ice. You need to have to refresh your head and stuff. Play different sports. It's different coordination too. You still working on coordination. Even playing ping pong too. Like it doesn't seem a lot, but it's still you coordinate. You focus on the little ball and stuff like that. But that's the way it is now. Everybody practicing non-stop now all year round. That's how it is. But I think to like everything come in a cycle, that's will change too.
Yeah, I know some guys that go right from season ends. They have maybe a week or two, and then they go right into 5-day-a-week like training and on ice stuff. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If it's working for you, it's working for you. But I don't know. I got pretty bored of hockey after a while. So that's why I'm on this side of the camera now, kind of thing. I didn't get very far past Timbits. Peter, you mentioned football. I just got to ask, how did your Dallas Cowboys do this year?
Not very good. As usual.
Yes.
As usual. So, Leaf fan, Cowboy fan, sort of used to it.
Fair enough. And last question, Vitali, how would you scout Chris Dawson when it comes to beer league hockey?
He improved big time from last year. I played with him my last year was first year. This year he improved a lot, so it's good.
Would you say he's a top?
He's moving in the right direction.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect. All right, thanks so much, Peter and Vitali, for joining me on the podcast this week.
Thanks, Courtney. Thanks, Mike. Chris, thank you.
Thank you.
There you have it. That's the last regular season version of the Frontline podcast you'll see this year. We might have to rejig things here coming up in the playoffs in what we hope will be a very long run for the Powassan Voodoos.
We'll see.
The Frontline, hosted by Courtney Kenny, the official podcast of the Powassan Voodoos.